Hey everybody, I'm Reality Rick and welcome to Geek Frustrations. Today we're going to talk about building a website. Building websites is a lot of fun. With very little knowledge, you can build a basic website. It takes almost no time at all to get off and running. As you keep learning, your websites become more and more sophisticated and they can become as complicated as you want. There's a lot of technologies that can go into building a website. The two that we're going to focus on are HTML and CSS. That's Hypertext Markup Language and Cascading Style Sheets. In this video, we're just going to have a quick look at HTML. The first two letters, HT, stands for hypertext. Hypertext is when you link to another page. The ML stands for markup language. Marking up your text changes the way it looks. Even if you go into a textbook and you highlight a sentence that you find interesting, you're marking up your book. So markup language is going to mark up your website. Once we have our HTML code written, we're going to open it up with a browser. A browser is a program that sits on your computer and interprets HTML code. There are many different kinds of browsers. Firefox, Internet Explorer, and Opera are examples of browsers. So I'm going to open up Notepad and we'll get started. You can find Notepad in your Start menu under Accessories. Now browsers tend to be quite forgiving when they're reading code. You can skip a lot of things and they'll still figure out what you're trying to do. Just for example, we're going to skip all the code and just type a sentence. So when we go to save, you notice by default it puts the final three letters TXT with a period on the beginning part. These last three letters are called an extension. This is how your computer decides what program to use to open up your file. If I leave it as a .txt, then next time we open it up, it's going to use Notepad to open it up again. We're going to change that. We want to open it up with a browser. In order to make that happen, we can label it .html. Now if I leave the save type this way, it's going to add another .txt on the end of it, and it'll go back to opening up with Notepad. We don't want that. So I'm going to change my save type to all files. Now when I save it, the logo changes to our Firefox, or whatever browser you have defaulted. If I open this up, there's our website. Believe it or not, you could post this to a server and the whole world could see it. It's not very exciting though. Let's try adding something else to it. I'm going to go back to my Notepad. And add one more sentence. I'm going to hit Control S to save, and then I'm going to go to my web browser and I'm going to refresh. You'll notice this is behaving a little bit unexpectedly. I have two sentences on two lines, and my web browser has interpreted it in a different way and put both sentences on the same line. Now we're getting our first clue that this is a website and not a text document. So what we need to do now is mark up our text so that the web browser knows what to do with it. Well, these are not just two sentences. The way I've written them, they're two different paragraphs. So I'm going to add at the beginning of the first sentence a less than sign or opening angle bracket and P for paragraph, and then a greater than sign or closing bracket. When you see something inside brackets like this is called a tag. We're going to use the tags to mark up our text. At the end of this sentence, I'm going to close the tag so that it knows where the paragraph stops. The way we close a tag is a / and then whatever tag we're closing. In this case, P. And I'm going to make this second sentence into a paragraph as well. in paragraph. Control S to save, and I'm going to refresh. Now we have it on two different lines as we originally expected. I'm going to stay inside this paragraph tag. I'll just move the closing tag down, and I'm going to add a list. So I'm going to go opening bracket UL. That stands for unordered list. And inside my unordered list, I'm going to have LI for list item. Now, each tag needs to be closed properly. You can see that when you get a lot of tags, it might be easy to forget one. This is why I have indented different blocks. My unordered list is inside the paragraph, so I've indented it over a step. And my list item is inside my unordered list, so I've indented it another step. Now when I go back, I can see that there's a step with a missing closing tag. I know I need to close something, in this case the unordered list. And my closing paragraph tag is already there. So Control S to save, and let's see what this looks like. Here, now we have a bulleted list. Since this is a list of steps, something I did one after another, I'm going to change my list type. Instead of UL for unordered list, I'm going to change it to OL for ordered list. Don't forget to close it properly. And go back to my browser and refresh. Now it's numbered it for me. One final thing I'd like to point out about editing your website. If you close this down and turn your computer off and come back, there's a little bit of a different way to open this file. If I double click this, it's going to open up under the web browser. We want to open it up both ways so we can edit it as you've seen in this video. In my case, I've been editing a lot of my documents with another program called Notepad++. On your computer, it should give you the option to open up under just regular Notepad if that's what you prefer to use. So now when I open this up, I have my Notepad and I can edit my document. I prefer to use Notepad++ as it adds a few extra features that we didn't see in the regular Notepad. For starters, you can see that it's color-coded my tags. It helps me to see what is going to be seen by the user and what I'm coding as a coder. Another nice feature is the file folders on the side. Once you get going with a more complex website, there will be more than one file involved. And this makes a nice feature for editing more than one at a time to see how everything links together. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and in the next video, we will be going on to more different kinds of tags and how to publish a website. We'll build a basic website using our HTML. See you then!